and welcome to NDTV 24/7. I'm Priyanshi Sharma, and well, today has been all about yoga as it was the International Day of Yoga, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi celebrated the International Day of Yoga at the UN headquarters as he's there on his first state visit to the United States. Now, after that Yoga Day celebration, the Prime Minister is now leaving New York and his next destination is Washington. Those are the live visuals that we're getting you from New York, where the Prime Minister is leaving his hotel, and of course he's being all of his supporters and the Indian diaspora there greeting the Prime Minister as he's now leaving his New York hotel, and his next destination is Washington, where his state visit will officially begin. Now later, after reaching Washington, the Prime Minister will meet CEOs and industry leaders, and on Thursday he will attend a dinner hosted by the US President Joe Biden and his family at the White House. And after that, of course, he will deliver an address to the US Congress. It will be his second address to the US Congress, which is the first for any Indian Prime Minister to give an address to the US Congress twice. So that's all that's lined up ahead for the Prime Minister's visit, as he's now leaving New York and is going to go to Washington next. There you can see visuals of the Prime Minister leaving his New York hotel, being received and greeted by the Indian diaspora there and several of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's supporters there in New York. So while the Prime Minister is now going to Washington, today has been all about the celebration of the International Yoga Day. So in this show, we will get you the highlights of today's historic celebration, along with how India has made yoga a way of life globally. Now, why do I call it historic? A world record has been created at the United Nations headquarters in New York for people of the most number of nationalities performing yoga together. People from 135 nationalities performed yoga today at the UN headquarters, along with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, beating the previous record of people from 114 nationalities performing yoga together. Now, the Prime Minister, who's on the second day of his 4-day US state visit, received the title for the Guinness World Record there at the UN headquarters. In fact, top UN officials, diplomats and prominent individuals from around the world joined Prime Minister Narendra Modi in this one-hour program at the UN headquarters in New York. There you can see the Prime Minister receiving the Guinness World Record title. Now, the President of the 77th session of the United Nations General Assembly, Saba Korosi, the Hollywood actor Richard Gere, and Mayor of New York City, Eric Adams, and the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Amina J. Mohammed, were all among the prominent individuals who attended today's event. The United Nations Secretary General, in his message for the Yoga Day, praised the practice as a uniting force. He also underscored the critical benefits of this ancient practice in a world that's fraught with danger and division, saying that yoga offers a haven of calm, reduces anxiety, promotes mental well-being, and fosters discipline and patience. Now, this year's International Day of Yoga held particular significance of India, as it was seen as a realization of a vision that was presented by Prime Minister Narendra Modi 9 years ago from the United Nations General Assembly podium. He had proposed marking the International Yoga Day as an annual celebration, and that vision has now become a UN-mandated occasion that we celebrate every year. Today's celebration highlighted how this practice that originated over 5,000 years ago in India has now become truly global. Listen in to what Prime Minister Narendra Modi said at the event today.
Yoga is free from copyright, free from patents, and free from royalty payments. Yoga is adaptable to your age, gender, and fitness level. Yoga is unifying. It is for everyone, for all ethnicities, for all faiths, and for all cultures. Yoga is a way of life, a holistic approach to health and well-being, a way to mindfulness in thoughts and action.
In fact, my colleague Maha Siddiqui is there in New York and she's tracking the Prime Minister's visit to the United States. Here's a report that she sent us earlier from the Yoga Day celebrations at the UN headquarters.
Right here behind me in the United Nations headquarters North Lawns, we can see 1,000 people performing the yoga at the International Day of Yoga, the 21st of June, being led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi here, an event for which all missions of the United Nations were given an invitation. The UNGA President is participating in the event today, along with several celebrities who have been invited as well. The asanas being performed here by the people, and after this event is over, the New York leg of the Prime Minister's visit will be over, and he is heading to Washington DC after that, which is going to be the main part of his visit to the United States, because that's when the state visit really starts. On the 22nd is when he will be meeting President Joe Biden for a bilateral meeting. He will also be given a guard of honor, considering this is a state visit. We are expecting some big announcements in the defense sector as well as in the technology sector. In the defense sector, at least 2 deals, the joint and co-production of the GE jet engines with HAL India that will be used in its latest version of the light combat aircraft. If that happens, that really is a big deal, because it might build the ground for technology transfer, considering that India has laid stress on Make in India and Atmanirbharta as far as defense sector is concerned. The other important deal could be a buyer-seller, a purchase of the American drones that India requires at the moment. In the tech sector, we are looking forward to some more development as far as semiconductors are concerned. Both the sides have started the initiative on critical and emerging technologies, and they will take that forward with several announcements in the times to come. As far as the other events of the Prime Minister are concerned, in Washington DC, he'll be addressing a joint session of the US Congress for the second time. That evening, that is 22nd evening, is when a state dinner will be thrown for the Prime Minister as well by President Joe Biden. He will also be meeting young entrepreneurs and the Indian diaspora on the 23rd before he wraps up his visit to the United States. With camera person AJ Joseph, this is Maha Siddiqui in New York for NDTV.
Now, who was the yoga instructor that led this record-breaking event? Well, it was famous ballerina turned yoga professional Annelise Richmond, who led the celebrations alongside Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the United Nations lawns. She teaches yoga at 100 universities, and she led the yoga session today with a group of 6 American children. Take a look.
A very warm welcome to our Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji.
Famous ballerina turned yoga professional Annelise Richmond leading the Yoga Day celebrations at the UN lawns alongside PM Modi. She leads the yoga session with a group of 6 American children between the ages of 8 and 12 years. Richmond was contacted by the Indian representatives at the UN through her local teacher in NYC to participate in the yoga event with Prime Minister Modi. Richmond's first exposure to yoga was when she was 18, but she believed that it was only about stretching. 5 years later, when she met a Bengaluru-based art of living teacher in New York, she began to believe in the practice. This greatly helped her heal from the injuries she sustained in her profession. She says that certain breathwork and meditation practices eased her anxiety while navigating a high-pressure career. She learned yoga at the Art of Living campus in Bengaluru that she visited in 2006.
You know, India holds a really dear place in my heart because I did all of my yoga, pranayama, and meditation training in India through India with Gurudev, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, and the Art of Living. I did it 23 years ago.
Richmond now teaches yoga in over 100 universities across the US, including Harvard and Columbia.
A great honor for me to be leading yoga, pranayama, meditation for PM Modi, who has helped spread this knowledge around the world.
Bureau Report, NDTV.
And as we celebrate the 9th International Day of Yoga, let's find out how it all began. My colleague Arun Singh traces the history of yoga that originated over 5,000 years ago in India.
It's International Day of Yoga, and how can I not start my video with an asana? Let's go. Shirshasana. This asana helps improve body posture, concentration and balance. It also reduces stress hormones too. That's the magic of yoga. I'm Arun Singh and I'm here to give you a quick history lesson on International Day of Yoga. The word yoga is derived from the Sanskrit word yuj, meaning to join. The practice of yoga is believed to have started at the very dawn of civilization. In the yogic lore, Shiva is seen as the first yogi or Adi Yogi. Bhagavad Gita mentions the concept of Gyan Yoga, Bhakti Yoga and Karma Yoga. Have you heard of Patanjali? No, we're not talking about Ramdev's Patanjali. Patanjali was a sage in India who's believed to have authored Yoga Sutra, a classical yoga text dating to 200 BCE to 200 CE. Swami Vivekananda took his learnings to the West. In the 1920s, as Indians geared up to fight Britishers, yoga got popularized as a way to strengthen the body. BKS Iyengar started Iyengar Yoga and was considered one of the foremost yoga teachers in the world. Slowly and steadily, yoga became more than an exercise. Pranayam and Dhyan got as much attention as the asanas for physical strengthening. Cut to 2014, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi in his UN address suggested an annual day of yoga on June 21. And boom, we started celebrating International Day of Yoga from 2015. Arun Singh for NDTV.
With that, we'll take a very short break, but stay tuned for lots more on the other side.